Hello guys, happy baby name Monday. My name's SJ, I'm a baby name consultant. It's my birthday today, happy birthday to me, and I thought I would do one of my favourite topics, which is romantasy themed names, where I take a theme and change it up into all the gorgeous names you could have if you love this vibe. So romantasy is a literary genre made up of romance and fantasy. So if you're into names that are mystical, names that have an elfish or elfin vibe, or just really whimsical and romantic, this is the list for you. Hit subscribe so you never miss a baby name list. I've done loads because I'm obsessed. So the first name that I have on my list is the name Alva, A-L-V-A. It actually means elf. I also love how strong it is as a name with the V in there, giving it a really different take on a name that actually sounds absolutely perfect for a romantasy heroine. The name Delith is so beautiful. It is a Welsh name, and if you are a fan of Sarah J Maas's work and ACOTAR, Court of Thorns and Roses, you will know she uses a lot of Welsh mythology names to get inspiration from, because it was a sort of period of literature that really inspired her in a period of history. And Delith is just a new name to me that I came across. It's totally unranked at the moment. It is Welsh and it means beautiful. And you said princess, it means beautiful, which I think is such a romantasy princess name. We love Delilah. I love names ending in this pretty ith sound at the end, and Delith could be your princess, and she is right from a romantasy novel. The name Lorien is so gorgeous. I love an L sound in a name. It's actually a male name from a character from the Tolkien world, but I think it works beautifully for either gender. It means field or land of gold. So again, it takes me right to these beautiful places that are so evocative in the land of romantasy. And I think Lorien just brings that love, that sort of mysteriousness as well of a character from romantasy, but it's a super wearable name that's totally unranked. Trinity. Virtue names are so gorgeous, and Trinity means three, so it's mentioned obviously in Genesis. It's a very biblical name with the Holy Trinity. It's also in The Matrix as a character who also is sort of a hacker who's come outside of the Matrix, but to me the name has a lot of that secret society mystery charm, a lot of spiritual meaning as well, and I just think as a name it's so lyrical and beautiful, and it sounds really, really wearable, but it's really unused. Trinity. Also, if she's your one baby and you make a three, or if she's your third, there's many gorgeous reasons to love the magical name Trinity. Another name from Lord of the Rings is the name Tauriel. Tauriel, Tauriel. It is absolutely bang on this theme and this trend. I absolutely think it is really gorgeous, and it means daughter of the forest, which I absolutely am obsessed with. It's my birthday today, and years ago on my birthday my parents gave me a deed poll voucher, and I chose from new middle names, I didn't have one, and I chose the name Forest. I don't know if I've ever told you that, and I absolutely love it. And so I love that Tauriel means daughter of the forest, and I feel like it sounds a little bit like Victoria, and when we're going with a unique name, finding something that really sounds wearable is always a bit of a test that I put names through, and I think Tauriel would be really gorgeous if you love this type of name. Meaning from the Raven's Forest, which puts me right into one of these, is it Ethereal or Ethereal? Worlds of romantasy is the name Roxbury, and it's so gorgeous when you think about these sort of fortresses, and you can really see it in your mind's eye. I think I had this on my dark academia list, so if you love this vibe, go and check that out next. Roxbury is really cool with that X, which a lot of us really, really like, and it really sounds like a rock and roll, but she sounds like a sort of warrior princess right from the pages of a novel. And I think Roxbury is such a trendy but also quite timeless. It's easy to say and spell, so I always think that's a really good thing when you're again going with something a little bit more unique, because it is totally unranked. I always put unranked names, not because I only love weird names, but I just think when you're watching a baby name list, you want some fresh ideas, and Roxbury could be so cool even as like a trendy middle spot. How about the name Zephyra? I feel like, let me know if these are in romantasy books that I've not read yet, because I'm only on book 3 of the ACOTAR and just got my sort of romantasy legs, but I really love the name Zephyra. So I love Zephyr, which means wind, and the god of that gentle breeze, and I think again it just takes you to the outdoorsy, magical, mystical moments within these books, and Zephyra is a kind of feminine form of it. Zephyrus was also a deity. He was a deity associated with flowers and spring. So for you're having a baby around now and it's getting to spring, then Saphira could be a really great choice. The name Quinlan, again, a gender neutral gem. Quinlan is really stunning. It really stands out. If you want a name that really stands out and shines, as I always say, then I think that Quinlan really suits you, and it means strong, and it's got that strong energy about it. It's main character energy name Quinlan, but we love Quinn, and I've always loved it, but I actually really love with a longer ending for it. Inca, a great name because it means ancestor, and I think so many of the Romantasy tales are about the bloodline or the timeline of the person, and we go back and we learn so much about their history, and I can see Inca being a really great name for somebody who is really long line of people behind them. They come with your ancestors' power, and that standing with an army feel of Inca. Ferrin, F-E-R-R-Y-N, means adventurer or traveller, so you almost couldn't get a more romantasy name. I love it. It's so mysterious. It's beautiful to say, and if you don't want to go with something like Fae that's really fairy, then Ferrin really gets you into the world of romantasy without being too on the nose. But again, it's beautiful, it's whimsical, it sounds really flowy, Ferrin. And it used to also comes up as meaning to be protected on your travels, so I see it as that sort of carrying something forward to protect her for her life, so I love it. The name Oleta, so gorgeous as an alternative to uber popular Olivia. It is a Norse name that actually means small winged one, and I was looking for names with that wings and those powers that we see a lot of angels or fairies have, and I think Oleta is one of the most pretty ones that I found through all my research. Anglo-Saxon names are amazing, and the name Eadlin means princess, and it's got that E-A-D-L-I-N, Eid at the beginning, which is so gorgeous. Little Edie could be a good nickname, couldn't it? Eadlin, meaning princess. I think it is absolutely stand out. I love names when they're Old English because they have that real mythological feel that we have in all of those types of titles as well. A real standout and shine name, it's a bit of a wild card, is the name Domino. But it is a name that I've heard. It's actually unranked in the UK, but you read it in novels, and I just thought if you really love a strong, powerful, really standout name, I know Domino is really cool. And what I loved about it for this list is the name came from the black and white cloaks that priests used to wear back in the day. So it was a priest coat with a domino, and then that became the name for the game, and then it became a first name for daring namers. What do you think of Domino? Would you ever use it? I think it is really trendy. Guinevere is another Welsh one. There's so many gorgeous Welsh names on this list. She was the famed, from the Arthurian, from King Arthur's mythology, and I think Guinevere is so beautiful. It's really long and whimsical. I feel that we're familiar enough with it to make it really wearable, even though it is unranked at the moment. It means apparently, well, she was the first lady of the island. The island was called Avalon, and Guinevere has the grandness and the stature of a romantasy heroine. Another name meaning cloak is the name Glennon, G-L-E-N-N-O-N, and I love it. If you're familiar with Glennon Doyle, who I'm obsessed with, I think Glennon really works. It's actually gender neutral as a name. I love that it means cloak. Reminds me of the traitors a little bit, but it gets you also to that sort of mysterious person, and a glen being the outdoorsy nature word for a wide meadow. I just think it's got so much going for it, Glennon. And Esmeralda means dark moon. Perfect for this vibe, and it gives you a beautiful long name that again is familiar but super unique, and you can have Ray as a nickname as well, or Esme. Kepler is an old Germanic name I found, which is a occupational name for somebody who would make cloaks. So it's so gorgeous, and I feel like Kepler is one of those characters from a book that you would always remember and stand out. I think all these names have to be quite handsome, have to be quite rugged, and Kepler really sounds like one. If you love surname as first names, or you love occupational names, then Kepler is really unique and really cool. Camoran. If you love the strike novels, Camoran is the main character, the protagonist, Camoran Strike, and the name's got such an interesting history. It's Cornish, and Camoran was apparently the name of the giant in the Jack and the Beanstalk. got there in the end. The name of the giant was Camoran. Who knew? Again, it's really strong, but it's got those gentle sounds that make it sound really romantic, somebody you'd be drawn to. Found this French name, and you need to help with the pronunciation. So I would say Delano, but it also comes up as Delano, and it's French, and it means a really cool meaning. There was loads of different meanings for it as well, but I had to include it because I just thought it was so romantic and such a Romantasy hero name. From the forest of nut trees, which I think is basically a new court that we could go to. Which court would that be if you're an ACOTAR fan? Delano. But again, it's got that mystery, it's got that romance, and it sounds right out of a Romantasy book. Oslak. I thought this would be so much of your guys' pick, Oslak, for your favourite name. Let me know your favourites below, because it's sort of a mixture of Lucas and Oscar, which is such popular names, but Oslak has a really cool meaning. It's kind of dark because it means to offer a sacrifice to God or a gift to God. And it also comes up as meaning somebody who is curious. So again, a really strong name for this theme. Leif is a Scandinavian name that means heir, and that's such a theme, isn't it, to pass on your kingdom or your crown during a Romantasy book. And Leif is a really gentle name. It's mostly now used in Scandinavia, but it does date all the way back to Anglo-Saxon times, so it has travelled a lot, but it's just stuck in Scandinavia. We need to bring it out. Leif, it's actually getting used. It's one of the more used ones on this list, because 31 boys in the UK were called Leif last year. Griffith is a Welsh classic meaning strong lord. Couldn't get more Romantasy. It was given to 27 boys last year. It's beautiful, it's powerful, it's impactful, it's everything you want for a name. If you are looking for a daring name, I love Griff as a nickname as well, Griffith. It's really, really bang on the style of this really popular trend. Logan is a Scottish name meaning little hollow, which takes me out to a magical woods somewhere in some sort of fairyland, little hollow, where you can imagine just going through and finding a new realm. And Logan is a really, really well-known name, really cool. It's got that Scottish origin as well, and that really woodland deity feel. Riven was new to me, and with river being so popular, Riven is really fascinating, and it means to tear down. Isn't that cool? It's so warrior lord to tear down Riven. He'd maybe be more of a, you know, is he good or is he bad? We never know within Romantasy, do we? No spoilers. But as I said, I'm on book 3. It comes from an old Norse word. And when I looked it up, it is actually getting some use. There were 20 boys and 4 girls registered as Riven last year. What do you think of it? I love it. It reminds me of the word ribbon as well, which feels quite feminine. Riven, really a new one to me, and one I'm so excited to hear what you guys think about. Alwyn literally means friend of the elves. So that win ending comes up as meaning friend, and it sometimes comes up as meaning dear one or fair one, and also sometimes wine, but wine actually more comes from vine, an old word, whereas win was the name for dear or friend, and Alwyn being the friend of the elves. It's a familiar name again. It's a Welsh classic, so beautiful. It's actually a boy name, but I think it does work for any gender. Wallace. I'm addicted to this name at the moment. I read a book with the name Wallace in it. I think it was from Bliss and Sorrow, which is a book I'm obsessed with. Wallace. I did put in a name list ages ago, but it means stranger. So I think it works really well as a Romantasy name. It's really, really mysterious, isn't it, Wallace? There were 7 boys named Wallace last year, and I think it's really trendy. From the Norse god of peace and fertility, Ing, comes the name Ingram. So it's a surname as first name, and it means raven of peace. It's got that Dark Lord feel to it, but it's soft as well, Ingram. You just want to sort of give them a little hug, and I think I love it for that sort of surname as first name vibe and the romance and darkness that it brings. Fenwick means from the outlying farm or from the marsh, and it gives it that sort of villager feel when you get into these worlds, and there's always Fenwick, and he sounds like he's going to be the one who kind of comes in and saves the day unexpectedly at the end. And I think it's such a great name. I love